My peoples, my peoples, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know what we doing on this beautiful Friday morning. We talking boxing. Salute to my brother side in the building, Toy Mafia. You know what we do, my guy. My peoples, before kicking this thing off, let me say good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. If you did not get to join yesterday's show, Happy New Year's. We made it to 2026, my peoples. We had an amazing year for boxing in 2025. Lots of big fights, lots of controversy, lots of knockouts. This year, we're going to start off with a bang, my peoples. The month of January is absolutely stacked. And this thing is going to kick off right away this weekend. So we're going to go over these fights. We're going to make our predictions, all of that good stuff. But it looks like this whole damn thing is going to start off with Amanda Serrano this weekend. And you guys already know Amanda Serrano is one of the best female fighters ever. And, she's accomplished a lot in the sport of boxing. She's actually the first woman to sign with MVP. She's the one that got the whole thing kicked off. It looks like, I'm not sure if that's gonna be the case, but it looks like this may be her last fight. It looks like she's planning on retiring. So, of course, she wants to go out with a bang. You guys know that Amanda Serrano fights are always exciting. You're always gonna get your bang for your bucks. So, of course, I'm gonna be on that live commentary. I'm gonna be calling this fight live. Let's see if Amanda Serrano is gonna beat Tellez in this fight. So going down on Saturday, my peoples, be ready for that smoke. You know how Amanda Serrano fights always play out. She's there to work. Then we're going to get, my peoples, Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. And here's the interesting thing about this part. Wait a minute. Am I confused, my peoples? Because I see on the day here, Monday, is that a wrong poster or something that says Monday, November 10th? Oh, that's because the fight was postponed. Or I don't know, maybe. Remember when Subriel Matias popped dirty? Let me see if I have the correct date for that fight. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Smith. Date. So yes, my people, Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith are fighting on January 10th. So the wrong date is on this poster. Maybe that got postponed when Subriel popped dirty and they had to push it forward. But then he unpopped dirty somehow. So there you have it. Subriel Matias, Dalton Smith. They're going to mix it up. And this is going to be a very good fight. We know that Subriel coming off of a controversial win over Alberto Puello. Some people felt like Puello won that fight. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Subriel got the W, and now he's going to be facing Dalton Smith. So let's see how this plays out, because Dalton Smith is a guy who can fight, who got skills, and Subriel Matias is a pressure fighter. He's going to apply that pressure. He's going to try to land those big shots, but he's kind of flat-footed. He's going forward. He's there to be hit, and he gets hit a lot. Can he beat a guy like Dalton Smith, who is going to let them hands go, who's not, Dalton is not there like facing a boogeyman where he's going to be scared. He's going to be there trying to put all type of hands on Subriel Matias. I tell you that. So January 10th is going to be on. They're going to mix it up. We got Moses Itauma, my peoples. Moses Itauma is back in action. He's going to continue to display his skills. Lots of expectations. Lots of expectations, my people. Go ahead. Moses Itauma is that fighter that, what is he, 21, 22 years old? at his age, you know, very strong, fast hands, good movement, good angles. He's the type of heavyweight young boxer who can actually end up winning a title and having a long reign. Maybe unified titles even become undisputed. Most of the time, where there's a lot of expectations for him. This kid can fight. So get ready for that one, my people. Think about it. Look at the fights that we're going over. All of this is going down in January. All of this is going down in January. Something funny I want to say about this one, y'all. Check it. January 24th. Morataya versus Cruz. Tell you something interesting about this fight. The other day, I had a dream about this fight. And in my dream, Andy Cruz beat Morataya, right? And some of you may have caught it, some of you didn't catch it. But when I was doing the review of the best fights of 2025, I actually mentioned this one. I was like, yo, man, you know, Morataya versus Cruz, that was a good fight, man. And Morataya could fight, but Andy Cruz handled him. Andy Cruz handled him. He's too much. And that fight hasn't even happened. And I was talking about it like it already did. But come on, my people. It's January 21st. Andy Cruz, Raymond Morataya. That's very interesting matchup. We're going to be making predictions about that fight. You guys know that both of these fighters are very skilled. Both of them. Of course, my peoples, in January, we're going to get Bakra Mortasaliev back in the building versus Kelly. What's Kelly's first name, man? While not over here. It's a fight, my peoples. This is a fight. Everybody has been talking about Bakra Mortasaliev since his beating of Tim Tszyu. People want to see him. People want to see who's going to step up to the plate to fight him. And it's going to be Josh Kelly. Bakra Mortasaliev versus Josh Kelly is going down on January 21st, my peoples. My peoples, this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a competitive fight. Did you see Josh Kelly's last fight? Because that's the thing. People make predictions sometimes without even seeing a fighter. They just say, well, Bakram is a knockout. He's going to beat him up. Josh Kelly can fight. Box fans, salute my brother. Bam. Northside. I got Josh Kelly winning. I'm going to be honest, bro. Seeing what Bakram Mortasaliev did to Tim Tszyu, it's kind of hard to go against him. Kind of hard. I'm not making a prediction. I'm making a prediction just yet. You guys know what it is. My predictions going down on Box Center 2.0. Jay Stradamus giving you the scoop. But I got to say, this is an interesting fight. It's going to be a lot more interesting than people think. But again, I'm pretty sure Bakram Mortasaliev is going to be the favorite to win that fight. My people, Xander Sayas is back in action. He's going to defend his title. If I'm not mistaken, this is going to be his first title defense, I think. So we're going to see the young lion back in action, doing his thing. Of course, he's going to be the favorite, first title defense. His opponent is somebody I'm not very familiar with, Barua. But that's definitely an interesting fight. Seeing Xander Sayas, you know, right now, if I'm not mistaken, he is the youngest reigning champion in boxing. So he's going to start that journey of defending titles. And soon enough, I believe we're going to see him going for unifications. Oh, it is a unification. Whoa. Xander Sayas is looking at unified titles? Side, Abdullah Mason is the youngest now. Yeah, Abdullah Mason surpassed Xander Sayas. So for a few months, Xander had that. But then Abdullah Mason swooped in. Every time Science gets in the ring, we always get real good action. I've said this before and caught some flack for it. I feel like Xander Science has some similarities to Tito Trinidad, some other things that he does in the ring, especially that left hook. It's almost identical. Um, but I'm looking forward to it, man. I know that Xander is going to show out, is going to do what he's supposed to do. Not making an official prediction. He got a tough opponent in front of him. I got to check him out. All right, go like that to the back. Oh, my peoples, I'm going to take a quick 30-second commercial break. I got to give my son a drink real quick, a little breakfast. I'll be back with you shortly. Y'all already know, man, this is another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. We're going over all of these fights that are taking place in January, kicking off on Saturday. See you guys in a few, my peoples. We talking about it. Yeah. Action, my people. We're back at it. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. To those of you who just tuning in, we're reviewing January. This month, we kicking off the year with lots of fights. The stars are gonna be going out and doing what they have to do. January 31st, is super stacked. That one date alone, crazy. Side, imagine Size gets two belts, they unifies with Fondora. Look, Sias already expressed interest in facing Sebastian Fondora. In fact, when Fondora won his last fight, Xander Sias was there. And he even wanted to do a face-off with Fondora, but Fondora's team didn't allow it after the fight. So we're seeing that about Xander, is that he is about that smoke. He has that old school mentality where he does want to go after the best out there. Carlos Adames is going to be fighting Williams. Can't remember his first name right now. Man, I wanted to see Adames in a showdown with Terrence Crawford. I thought that was a possibility. You guys know that Adames is a world champion at 160. And Terrence Crawford was planning on moving down to that division. However, we saw what happened with the WBC. They decided, Mauricio, the goofball Sulaiman, decided to strip Terrence Crawford. And Carlos Adames is the WBC champion at 160. So as soon as that happened, I knew Crawford versus Adames is a fight that we was not going to see. But Adames is going to get active on January 31st to defend his titles. Now, let's go over these fights that we're getting on January 31st, right? We're getting Carlos Adames and Williams. We're also getting Shushu Carrington versus Castro. This is also on the 31st. Now, you guys know that Shushu has been calling for some names out there. There's some people that he's been wanting to fight. We're not going to get into that. He got an opponent in front of him that he's going to face on the 31st. I'm pretty sure he's the favorite to win this fight. But you guys know what we get every time Shushu fights. Every time Shushu fights, you know you're going to get a good one. And that's my expectations in this case. We're going to get a mega showdown where Shushu's going to display his skills. And he got a tough opponent in front of him. He's going to have to. January 31st. Come on now. The businessman returns to boxing. Keyshawn Davis, a.k.a. the businessman, versus Jermaine Ortiz. Come on now. This is another interesting showdown right here. Why? Remember, Jermaine Ortiz gave Teofimo Lopez some problems. Teofimo haters even say he lost that fight. And we know that there's been a back and forth between Keyshawn Davis and Teofimo Lopez. So let's see how Keyshawn Davis is able to handle a Teofimo Lopez former opponent in Jermaine Ortiz. Anybody who's been watching knows Ortiz can fight. He can fight. He can box. Real good footwork. He can move. So let's see. Let's see if the businessman, coming off of a little bit of inactivity, is gonna go into this fight and show out, which of course is what he's planning to do. Remember, this is the co-main event to Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Though you know, as the co-main, Keyshawn is out there to show out. I did hear him say that he plans on going to 147, that he wants to win a title in the welterweight division. I'm not sure if after this fight he's going to announce that or what direction he's going in. But it looks like the businessman is trying to become a world champion at the welterweight division. I don't know if he's going to stay at 140 for too long. Let's see how this fight plays out. Is he going to walk out of there with the W? I had some people tell me, Jay, can't be celebrating this win just yet. Jermaine Ortiz can fight. He can fight. And I know he can. Look, I'm not making a prediction just yet. I really got to look into this. But y'all know I'm going to make the prediction. And y'all know I'm going to tell you who's going to win. That's the reason why you need to be subscribed to Box Center 2.0. Jay Stradamus got you, my peoples. And, of course, the main event on January 31st. Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Come on, my people. Come on, man. This is a huge fight. Mega fight. And for whatever reason, you know, we don't see people talking about it that much or going crazy over it. Well, guess what? I'm going crazy over it. I know the significance of this fight. I know how important it is that we're getting two reigning world champions, two multi-division world champions, two unified champions facing each other. And neither one of them is even 30 years old, sitting in their prime. Two of the best of this era. Because that is a fact. When you're talking about Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, two of the very best who've been in the biggest stage, who's been fighting for titles, who's been defending titles, both of them been doing it for years at this point. If you think about what year Shakur won his first title and what year Teofimo won his first title, if you think about that, these two young, hungry lions been doing it for years at this point. Forget about the haters who don't know shit about boxing. Oh, he didn't beat nobody. And who he beat. That's people who don't know shit about boxing, asking those questions. Both of them have a solid resume. I would say Teofimo has a little bit more because he has that name. He has that Lomachenko in there. And that's a big name to have under your belt. But both of these fighters have a real good resume. Both of them are expected to win by a lot of people. I got people telling me Shakur's going to make it look easy. I got folks telling me Teofimo's going to knock him out. How does this fight really play out? By the way, I told you guys, on Box Center 2.0, I will be giving you my prediction. Jay Stradamus got you. I'm keeping it real with y'all, man. I already know who's winning this fight. That's just the honesty, the honest truth. I know who's going to win this fight, but I'm not making the prediction just yet. I'm letting you guys decide. I'm not even going to influence. I'm not trying to influence your prediction. let it be what it is. What do you guys think? Who you have winning this fight? Who do you have winning this showdown? Teofimo Lopez or Shakur Stevenson? Y'all let it be known. By the way, my people, salute to everybody tuning in. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. The month of January is stacked. We're getting lots of fights, man. This is what we want. This is the way that we're starting off the year. Zay's is going the distance. Shakur. It could go the distance. It could definitely go the distance. But I have to say, look, a knockout is never out of the picture, out of the realm of possibility. When you're watching some of the best fighters in the game, you know, a knockout is not outside of the realm of possibility. Give me a second, my people. We back in action, my people. Back in the building. Sai, Abdullah Mason is the youngest now. Facts. Zay is going the distance. Ortiz with lucky KO. Ooh, with a lucky KO. This is a fight where I believe both guys have what it takes to stop their opponent. I know that there's always that narrative, oh, Shakur don't hit hard, Shakur. But it can happen. Anyone, Shakur can stop Tio. If he catch him with the right shot, he can stop him too. It can go either way. Northside, I got Tio making it look easy. Whoa, that's a tough prediction to make, Northside. I'm going to tell you right now, I haven't made a prediction, an official prediction on this fight, but that prediction right there, those are the type of predictions that go downhill real fast, my guy. Real fast, they go downhill. You know why? Because, bro, you've been watching Shakur Stevenson at this point for how many years? And you've never seen him get made to look easy. Never, ever. I understand that he's facing Teofimo Lopez, who's one of the best of this generation. That's facts. But why would you think that a fighter who's never been made to look easy is now going to be made to look easy? That's a bad prediction, my guy. It's the same thing when Terrence Crawford was going to be made to look easy by Canelo. How did that work out? So when a fighter is undefeated and it's a world champion, a multi-division world champion, all of that stuff like accomplished, they never gonna get made to look easy, bro. They never get made to look easy. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it actually does happen. Canelo's been made to look easy by a few people. Floyd made him look easy. Bivol made him look easy. And even Crawford made him look easy. So it happens. But it doesn't happen often. And the odds of Shakur getting made to look easy are extremely, extremely against you, bro. Who's going to win? Who's going to lose? We'll find out. I think it's fair to expect a competitive fight just because both of these guys are operating at the highest levels. So we can expect a real good showdown. And I've been telling people, that narrative that it's going to be boring, that Shakur's going to be running, that you can forget all that stuff. Because I told you guys before, both of these fighters are right there within the group of people that they trying to become the face of boxing. There's a group of fighters that they're all trying to go for the top spot. Now that Terrence Crawford retired, the #1 pound for pound fighter in the world is out. People are looking to climb up and get to that spot. So Teofimo and Shakur, they not looking to just show up and walk out of there with the W. They looking to show up and show out. Win in beautiful fashion. So it's going to be that type of fight. Zay, Shakur has a great defense. It's impossible to beat him easily. But that's what I'm saying, man. If you're saying that Shakur is going to get beat easily, that's a downhill prediction, bro. That prediction is gonna get blown out of the water in the first round. It ain't gonna be no easily beating him. And look, I don't see Teofimo getting beat easily either. See some people saying, nah, Shakur gonna wash him. I think that I know that Teofimo is a top-notch fighter who's gonna be out there looking to win. Like, Teofimo's not gonna be there, just happy to be there. He's gonna be out there trying to whoop Shakur's ass. So I expect them to be competitive. I expect it to be a good fight. Nobody's getting washed. I just don't see it. No side. Teo is a better fighter than Shakur. And I'm gonna put my money on him. Alright, go for it, man. But remember, when you say a better fighter, that's simply your opinion. Don't ever let your opinion turn into facts. You'll lose a lot of money behind that, bro. Like I said, it is going to be an interesting fight. I think we will see the best version of Teofimo Lopez versus the best version of Shakur Stevenson. Both of them are going to show up to this fight at their very, very best. And that's what I like the most, because these guys are young, accomplished. We see the skill set. We see the styles. These styles will match up perfectly to give us a very good, very entertaining fight. The Hydro Grind. Good morning, my peoples. Happy New Year to the entire Box Center family. The Hydro Grind in the building. Salute, my brother. You already know what it is, my peoples. 2026. We going hard. We going in. Salute to everybody tuning in to this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Friday morning. Happy Friday. If you're having your breakfast, enjoy your breakfast. If you're on your way to work, some of us have to work today. Some people's on vacation. Salute to you motherfuckers who's on vacation. I hate you right now because I got to go to work. But I digressed. Look, Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez is not going to be nowhere near the type of fight that a lot of people are saying. That Shakur is going to win by running, that it's going to be a boring fight, that it's going to be an easy fight for either guy. It ain't going to be no easy. You see me comparing this fight to Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. This could also be Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran. This is one of those fights where you're getting two of the very best of the generation facing each other. And both in their prime. That's what I like the best. You see, when Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvelous Marvin Hagler fought, that was actually, and people don't know this or don't remember it, or just never knew it, that was Hagler's last professional fight when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard. So it would be kind of like saying that was at the end of his career. Here, we got two guys, man, 28, 29, right there in their prime, at the peak of their physical strength. That's it, from 28 to about 34, 35, you're at the peak of your physical strength. And we know the skills. We know what Teo bring to the table. We know what Shakur bring to the table. The Hydro Grind, I see a chess match. No one wanting to risk and engage. What do you think of the undercard, man? The undercard is crazy. The undercard is crazy. And this thing is stacked. So on January 31st, right, we got the 160 champion, Carlos Adames, who's going to be making a title defense. We got Shushu Carrington, who's going to be making a title defense against Castro. This is going to be a real good fight. Castro can fight, and he's going to, be in there to disrupt what Shushu Carrington does. It's going to be entertaining right here. They're going to go at it. They going to go at it, my peoples. Of course, we got, as the co-main event, Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz. You guys remember Jermaine Ortiz gave Teofimo Lopez problems. There's people that say, oh, he beat Teofimo. They gave that to Teofimo. So Jermaine Ortiz can fight. And the businessman is going to take on a tough opponent. Now, I like this fight. Now, Keyshawn did say that he's planning on going to the welterweight division. So he may fight just this once at 140 and then move on up. Let's see what he's going to say after the fight. And, of course, the main event. Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. Ow, just got on. Who you got, Teo or Shakur? I haven't made that prediction yet, my brother. I am going to be making it on Box Center 2.0. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. I'm giving you the J Stradamus predictions. I don't miss. I don't miss. Ow, Keyshawn is skilled, but I feel like he's unfocused. I mean, I think it's easy to feel that way, taking into account that he didn't make weight for his last fight, which is something that we never expected. Keyshawn Davis, a very disciplined fighter, focused. But he didn't make weight, retired, is coming back now. Let's see where he's at. On January 31st, we're going to find out where he's at because, let's face it, man, Jermaine Ortiz, he ain't no cherry pick. He ain't no cherry. Jermaine Ortiz is a tough opponent. And matter of fact, he's the type of guy that if you're not having a good day, if you're not on top of your game, he could beat you. He could beat you. The hide your grind. I see both Dominican winning, Adames and Ortiz. Carlos Adames, I expect him to win that fight. Jermaine Ortiz, he's going up against Keyshawn Davis, man. It's tough. It's a tough matchup for him. Zay. Keyshawn is going to have a problem with Ortiz. And that's the one thing, man. Jermaine Ortiz has given fighters problems. We saw it with Teo. We saw how even now people feel like Jermaine Ortiz beat Teofimo Lopez. And they've been saying that. Corey B, 2026, going to be a great year for boxing. I got to agree with you 100%. We had an amazing 2025, but look at the way that 2026 is kicking off. In January alone, we got a bunch of fights. Look, this is just January, my peoples. This is how we kicking it off 2026. Look at this. Amanda Serrano, she spoke about retirement, so this could be her last fight. I'm not sure. But we got Amanda Serrano this Saturday coming up. We got Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith on January 10th. That's a heck of a fight. Which, it looks like the winner of this fight might end up getting Alberto Puello. You guys remember that Subriel Matias and Alberto Puello fought each other. And there's people who felt Puello won that fight. I felt like he won that fight. I might be biased because Puello is Dominican, right? And there's that rivalry between Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. But I really felt like he won that fight. The judges gave it to Subriel Matias. And now, him and Dalton Smith are going to mix it up. But Puello might be next in line. This is going to be a good fight. I know that Subriel, beat Puello and he's facing an opponent who hasn't won a title yet in Dalton Smith. But I got to tell you, man, Dalton Smith can fight. JSmiff is someone who has the skill set to beat Suriel. There's gonna be a very interesting fight, my people. In January, we also getting Moses Itauma back in the ring. We've been talking about him for a while now. How this guy's gonna not just become a heavyweight champion of the world, but have a long reign in the heavyweight division and unify titles, maybe become undisputed. He's one of those fighters who has all the tangibles. He has the tools and resources to actually go all the way and accomplish a lot. Looking forward to Moses Itauma, man. I think this is funny right here. Murataya versus Cruz. Another fight that we're getting in January. I actually had a dream that Andy Cruz beat Murataya by unanimous decision. And then I was on a live. People didn't even notice. Nobody even corrected me. But I was talking about all the fights from 2025. I was like, Andy Cruz got Murataya. Beat his ass too. Murataya can fight, but Andy Cruz was too much. So I spoke about it like Andy Cruz already beat him and the fight hasn't even happened. But here's another one that we're getting in January. Bakram Mortasaliev versus Josh Kelly. My peoples, y'all know we've been talking about Bakram Mortasaliev since he put that beating on Tim Tszyu. We've been wanting to see him with the bigger names in the division. And he's going to fight Josh Kelly. I had some people say, look, Josh Kelly's going to beat him. But Mortasaliev, with his style of boxing, man, he's a problem. Let's see how that plays out. Let's see it. We're also getting Xander Sayas back in the building. Northside, I'll bet you 100 that Tio beat Shakur. So I haven't made a prediction yet, but I'm not going to make any bets. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it the day after the fight. Obviously, you feel very confident about Teofimo Lopez. We'll talk the day after the fight, but I'll be making my prediction soon as well. Carlos Adames will be back in action against Williams. That's this month. So you guys can see all the fights that we're getting, man. In January alone, Shushu Carrington back in the building. Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz. Of course, same card, Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. My people, January stacked. January is stacked. The Hydro Grinds, Zayas looking to unify. And I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to Xander Sayas unifying, I'm not sure if that's the best move. And I'm going to tell you why. You know that he's super young. Xander's like what? 21, 22, if I'm not mistaken. When you have him unifying titles that early on, that young, that's going to put him in the line of fire at a young age. Like what I would have did if I'm handling Xander Sayas' career at his age, I would have gave him 4, 5, 6 title defenses of his belt. Good fights. Good highly ranked opponents. But get him some title defenses. Get him some championship fight experience. Get him a bunch of those. And then eventually get into the unifications by the time he's 26. 25, 26 years old. Why? Because when you're that young and you start unifying titles, you know, you have a lot more big guns going after you. And you have to make a lot more tougher fights early in your career. So Xander Sayas could end up being a guy who accomplishes real early, but is washed up by the age of 32, 33. Why? Because he's going to be in a lot of tough fights. Once you unify, you start being involved in more and more tough fights. I have to go to war with guys. I have to do 12 rounders. You're not knocking out guys early anymore or making it look easy. Those type of fights can shorten a fighter's career. The Hydro Grind, when he beats Abbas and gets the second belt, he'll become a target, of course. Of course, and there's going to be a lot more tougher opponents to have to deal with. John Blaze, Guess everyone can't beat Bam. Whoa, Bam Rodriguez, another special fighter, been accomplishing, has accomplished in multiple divisions. Um, but it's like I said, somebody doing something doesn't mean everybody should follow that same path. You know why, Johnny Blaze? Because Bam Rodriguez fights in a way lower division than Xander Sayas. Bam Rodriguez fights in a division where there's not a lot of power going around. He's the power guy. He's the one going around knocking people out. But most of the people in that division's Bam Rodriguez fighting in don't have a lot of knockouts. Don't have a lot of explosive knockouts. That boom, he got him out of there. No. So you can do that. You can accomplish it. And I don't want to disrespect Bam's accomplishments. I don't want you to look at it like that. But it's easier for you to accomplish at a younger age in a lower division. You're fighting in the in the one teens, in the 120s. It's easier to accomplish young than at 154. At 154 is a different level of power that you have to deal with. So Xander Sayas is gonna deal with tougher opponents than Bam Rodriguez. As far as power, I'm not talking about skills. There's great boxers, great skills in every division. Let's not get that twisted. But as far as power, Xander Sayas got a lot more on his table than Bam Rodriguez. So I think that's part of it. Young fighters that are fighting 154 and above, even 147 and above, if you have them unifying and doing all that early on, their career is gonna slow down, and it's gonna probably come to an end early too, because they're gonna be involved in a lot of wars with hard punchers. I want to say, my peoples, look, Keyshawn Davis fighting Jermaine Ortiz in the 140 division. I'm not sure why they decided to do that. I think they could have did a catch weight if Keyshawn is planning on going to 147. Let's see who will Keyshawn Davis challenge for a title in the welterweight division. Because now we got Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios fighting each other, but Conor Benn is waiting for the winner. I think he's mandatory for that belt. Gonna get interesting over there. John Sosa, 154 is heating up, man. Listen, 154 is on fire. It's officially burning down. And we're gonna see a lot of big fights in 2026. That's why I'm super excited to see Bakram Murtasaliev. Super excited to see him. Because after he did what he did to Tim Tszyu, we've been wanting to see him with the big names. I want to see Bakram fight Boots, Fundora, Xander Sayas. I want to see all those fights. In 2026, my peoples, you already see how we kicking it off. The month of January on fire. All these fights. But this is one of my favorite fights this month. Bakram Murtasaliev versus Josh Kelly. Just like many boxing fans, I became a fan of Bakram Murtasaliev. Just seeing the destruction that he leaves behind. Just his style of boxing. His aggressive nature. The way he goes about his business. Like, I'll put it to you like this, man. The way that I would describe Bakram Murtasaliev, he'll bully. He's going to bully his opponent. I'm going to beat you up. That fight with Tim Tszyu, it really impacted a lot of us. Because going into it, we didn't know Bakram. We had never seen him. This guy's fighting in small venues in Europe. Fights that are not even televised on this side of the world. We didn't know him. We thinking Tim Tszyu is supposed to beat him up, right? Timmy was gonna beat. Look, I've seen people predicting that Tim Tszyu was gonna knock Bakram Murtasaliev out brutally, brutally. So this guy right here is the perfect fighter to point out that just because you don't know somebody doesn't mean that they not good. It doesn't mean that they not elite level. There's some great fighters out there that we don't know. Great fighters who just haven't gotten that exposure, who haven't gotten that opportunity. But don't get it twisted. Some undefeated guy that you never heard of can show up out of nowhere and beat the crap out of one of your favorite fighters. Just like that. That fool that beat Bohachuk. Bro, you don't remember Bakram Murtasaliev gave Tim Tszyu the beating of a lifetime, bro. Beat him up. Beat him up, my people. We wasn't even expecting that. And I feel bad for Tim Tszyu because obviously he was coming off of that loss to Fundora. And people felt like, okay, he's in the process of redeeming himself. I felt like he was going to win that fight, but at that time, I was ignorant. I was ignorant. Why? I knew nothing about Bakram Murtasaliev. I only went by what they were saying. Oh, now look, Timmy's going to beat this guy up. So I went with that. Well, I learned and I understood it. Bakram is not no opponent. Some guy that you bring to get beat up. That's not what he is. And now he a world champion. So we're going to have to see all these guys at some point either get with him or duck him. You're either going to have to fight him or when the time comes, you're going to have to duck. Nebenet. Tim was supposed to fight Virgil too. Yeah. But after taking that type of beating, that was off the table. We forgot about that. Nobody's even calling for it. So we have to see, and I'm going to tell you something interesting, my peoples. Tim Tszyu has taken a few losses, right? Lost to Fundora first, then he lost to Bakram Murtasaliev, and then he lost the second fight against Fundora. So he's taking some L's. But I got to tell you, my peoples, I feel like Tim Tszyu can still become a world champion. I honestly feel that way. He has the type of style and the heart, the hunger that I feel like he can become a world champion. I don't know if he's going to be the champion in the division, if he's going to grab a vacant belt. I don't know how, but I feel like Tim Tszyu is going to end up becoming a world champion. The Don, you was right about the AJ Paul fight. Jay got hurt out there, my peoples. The Don, I try to tell everybody, my guy, that like, to me, I saw that coming a mile away. And you know how I decided that fight was going to play out that way? Because think about it, my G. We've been following Anthony Joshua for a long time. We've been following him. And AJ's the type of fighter, win, lose, or draw, we seen him going down on his shield. We seen him win at the, at the highest, at the biggest stage, in the biggest stage, at the highest level. AJ's never been down with no type of goofballery, ever. We never seen him down with no clown show, no funny stuff. This guy's a true warrior. So, and we saw what he did to Francis Ngannou. What was his mindset going into that fight? That he's being disrespected. Like, This guy from MMA think he could beat me. He gonna come from his sport and he think he could just beat me, world champion? Okay, I'm gonna show him what we do over here in boxing. And he absolutely obliterated Francis Ngannou. Devastating knockout. Brutal. So now Jake Paul says, I could beat him. Now, I got a very good memory, and I'm going to tell you guys, like maybe 6 months before the fight, Jake Paul said that he could beat Anthony Joshua. That Joshua was washed. And I'm like, damn. He believed that he could beat AJ? Okay. So guess what? Months later, when that opportunity came for AJ was like, oh yeah, this guy really believed he could beat me. Because 6 months ago, he was just talking. He was just trolling. But they sending me an offer. This dude really think he could go from YouTube to beating me. Olympic gold medalist, two-time heavyweight champion of the world. He think he could beat me. Okay. The very moment I knew Anthony Joshua was gonna put a real bad hurting on Jake Paul was when they first signed the contract. And a reporter asked AJ, do you think it's crazy that Jake Paul wanna fight you? That he think he could beat you? And this was Anthony Joshua's response. I don't think it's crazy. He think he could beat me. We're gonna fight. And we're gonna find out. That's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to hear. I could sense that he felt disrespected. Like, damn, they thinking a YouTuber could beat me. They thinking this guy, they really believe that shit. All right, we're gonna find out. When I saw that attitude, that demeanor AJ had, I was like, man, listen, he's gonna put the nasty beating on Jake Paul. I saw it coming. I knew it. I knew it was gonna go down like that. And that's the way that it was supposed to go down. Look, if we're being realistic, that fight should have never been sanctioned. That fight should have never been sanctioned, bro. You're talking about a guy who's never even had championship experience versus AJ. Like, this is the way that it was supposed to happen. My peoples, I'm going to take a 30-second break real quick, get this hydration. I'll be back with y'all. We still got to unpack Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. You know, we talked about it a lot last year, but we still got to talk about it because there's some things to discuss. I'll be back in about 30 seconds from this commercial break. You already know it. We talking boxing, my peoples. Stay tuned. My peoples, we back in the building. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Salute to everybody tuning in. Once again, Happy New Year's 2026, my peoples. we're gonna get it this year. Whatever it is that we want, we're gonna get it. Al, Jace Joe will never be the same. I mean, he got 2 plates put in there. 2 plates. He talking about when he come back, he gonna fight cruiserweights and all that. We don't even know if he's gonna be able to come back with those plates. So, and then there's people that was out there saying that AJ really pulled back on that punch. That he didn't really put everything into it. You done broke his jaw in 2 places. Indented his whole gum line, teeth line, jaw line, and pushed all that shit into his tongue. Shoved it all in there. But he didn't hit him with everything he had. Blood, Eagles, Meagle. Fighting an Olympic gold medalist is diabolical. Bro, no other way to describe it. That was crazy. I don't know how. I guess, you know, boxing is a business. They're going to generate a lot of money. So they say, let's sanction this fight. We're going to make money. But a fight like that, with the difference in skills between AJ and Jake Paul, should have never been sanctioned. In fact, this should be an example right here. Because Jake Paul got hurt brutally. He had multiple surgeries. He's still recovering. He's going to be recovering for months. Jake Paul had his Christmas turkey via a straw. He had a turkey milkshake. He had a mashed potato milkshake. Come on now. He got hurt badly. So this should be an example of what happens anytime that you try to bring a famous guy that maybe blew up on YouTube or elsewhere, and you're going to put him in there against a world champion. Well, guess what? They're going to get beat up and sent to the hospital. Shot cool hands, salute my brother. They're going to get sent to the hospital. Jake Paul's the first one. He may not be the last. These fights are popular. But honestly, we all wanted to see Jake Paul get knocked out. We wanted to see him go in there against a real boxer that was going to do what we all knew they was going to do to him. But I hope that he don't do more of these fights. I hope, based on what we saw, that they don't allow him to get in there with champions anymore. Keep making your fights with your retired fighters and retired MMA fighters and all of that other stuff that you've been doing, and you're going to keep making your money. But if Jake Paul keep trying to fight top-level guys, that's going to continue to happen to him. He's going to end up punch-drunk. He's going to end up without his faculties, trying to be greedy for that money. So I understand you're making a lot of money. But all good money is not good money, my peoples. I'm going to put it to you like this. If I got 10 million in the bank, 10 in the bank, I don't want 90 to walk out of the ring like this. I don't want that 90. I'm going to go look to make a 5 or 10 or 15 mils. I don't need no 90 to be looking like this, to have my shit fucked up. You don't know if Jake Paul's ever going to recover from that type of injury, bro. I know somebody got their jaw broken when they was a kid, and that shit was never the same. Got their jaw broken when they were like 15. That shit never went back to being the same. Shot cool hands. He got to remain in the goofball show. Listen, man. That's the type of money that I don't want. I don't want that money. Real talk, my people. If I'm already a millionaire, I don't want a big payday to get in there with somebody that's going to obliterate me. Keep that money. Give it to somebody else. Danny Guns. They got some boxing channels saying if you never box, you can't comment on boxing. What's your opinion? No, that's not true. That's not true. You don't have to. You don't have to have box to comment. But what you cannot be is an expert. If you never box, you can't be an expert. So you have to understand how you're going to comment. Because fans are going to make some great commentary. Fans are going to come up with some great opinions too. But I think that's the problem with people who's been in the ring. And that's my problem too with some people. When you try to auto-designate yourself an expert. You start to act like you're an expert. And then you start saying a lot of things that don't really go with what's happening. Corey B. Max Kellerman never boxed. I'm glad you brought him up, and I'm going to tell you why. What makes him different than a lot of people, especially on social media? You got to remember, although Max Kellerman has never boxed, at this point in his career especially, the guy's been around some of the greatest fighters of all time. The guy's been around some of the best trainers, some of the best promoters, some of the best coaches. So it's not the same watching boxing on TV every day and watching boxing on social media and deciding that now you're an expert. That's not the same as Max Kellerman, because he never fought, but he's around the people that did fight. He's in conversations regularly with the people that did fight. He can reach out to them. So once you are around the people who are doing it, you start getting to acquire the knowledge firsthand. Now you're not just coming up with your own logic from what you saw on TV. Now you're sitting there with Terrence Crawford, you're sitting there with Andre Ward, you're sitting there with Floyd Mayweather. You're sitting there with the best fighters from this generation, going back and forth. So now you're able to pick their brain. So your level of knowledge is never going to be the same watching TV and watching social media than it is going to be where you're actually with the fighters, with the trainer, with the coaches. So you got to understand, Max Kellerman never boxed, but he's been in boxing for decades at this point. Max Kellerman been in boxing for over 30 years at this point. So you got to give him that. That level of knowledge that he's going to have is different because of the environment that he's in. Wally, I'm like, hey, Jay, when is the Tio versus Shakur fight? January 31st, my peoples. And by the way, Keyshawn Davis is fighting that night, fighting Jermaine Ortiz. And we're also going to get, who else? We're going to get a few fights. Hold on, my peoples. Give me a second. I'll be right with you. My peoples, a personal situation went down that I'm going to have to address. I'm going to have to end this show early. I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in to this morning's episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Shaku Hands, Wally Ahmad, God Body Sean, salute my brother. Corey B was in the building, Sai, and everybody else who tuned in. Y'all already know, my peoples. I'm about to get the hell out of here, but one love to everybody who tuned in. Tomorrow's episode of Boxing for Breakfast is going to be lit. We're going to be talking about Amanda Serrano and her upcoming fight. Y'all already know, my peoples. One love to everybody. 2026, we're going to get this, y'all. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.